I just arrived to Riga and 3 practice and try to beat Serbia in Belgrade. Kind of crazy mission, right? I told my family, hey, you have to come to Latvia in vacation because city is amazing, country is beautiful, and the weather is beautiful. I saw Treviso play several times. I believe he's one of the best team in Italy, actually. VEF was the very first team who put them in trouble.
Yeah. Esiet sveicināti kārtējā VEF podkāstu epizodē. Edgars Barbaks,
Rūdolfs, Kugrēns.
Un šodien pie mums ciemos Latvijas basketbola izlases un basketbola kluba Pasaules galvenais treneris Luka Banki. Hello, Luka.
Hello.
It's nice.
Pirmais podkāsts Itāļu valodā.
Yeah, it's going to be our first podcast in Italian. No, but it's going to be our third podcast in English, I think. So yes. Well, first of all, welcome to Latvia. I guess it's your first time in Latvia and in November in Latvia, yes?
Yeah, and the first Latvians know.
Yeah.
But you know what? Yesterday I landed in Riga and with beautiful weather, sunshine.
Yes.
It was great. And I left Italy with rain, fog, and I said, oh, this is a paradise. This morning, I wake up with snow.
Yeah.
And in 2 hours was raining. So you prepare...
It's following you. No, it's following you.
You prepare a full package for me. So yeah. I really thank you because in one day, I touch everything.
Yeah, like autumn, winter, spring. Yeah, and it's going to get dark in like an hour. So yes.
That's bad.
Before we start talking about the Latvian national team, you are now the head coach of Pesaro. Yep. That's the name. Congrats on your first victory.
Thank you.
And I wanted to ask, like, how difficult is for coach to start coaching a team and not from the beginning of the season, not like you didn't recruit those players, somebody else did. Like, how hard is that just to jump in somebody else's roster and to do the coaching there?
Yeah, that's a tough mission. I mean, it's part of the mission because, of course, when you enter during the season, this is my second time because I had a previous experience in Bamberg with a EuroLeague team that they decide to change a coach despite it was a long-term contract with this coach who spent, 5-6 years in a row in the same place. I entered because the team was not performing well. It was February. You have just to handle the team emotionally because they were going down, out of confidence, but the team has a pretty solid and consistent structure. No changes in a roster, just to change their mindset,
mentality, yeah.
So you have to approach them with such a kind of approach, just to select information and go, little by little to introduce your ideas and your style. Here, the picture changed completely because the coach resigned after 4 games. Of course, their season was very bad since the beginning. They realized that they did bad choices with players. Team was not performing. Chemistry in the team doesn't exist.
And here comes Luka.
No, I mean, they need a magician more than a coach. But okay, I decided to go there, and now trying to answer your question is how to approach such a situation. First, time, that usually is the most difficult enemy and dangerous enemy for a coach in sport. I have quite enough time to approach and to affect the team. What I mean is this is a team who's not playing cup. So we have a pretty long week to practice.
One game in a week.
One game in a week. So, usually our weekly routine is practicing twice, at least 3 times per week, practice every day. You have the chance to affect the team, and that's something makes me feel stronger. And the next point is that the team needs to build a system because they were totally out of confidence, not very organized, and players, they need the role. It's a kind of preseason. I took a look to the calendar, who showed that in the first 4 games we have a very tough games against some of the best teams like Bologna, Venezia, and I say, okay, it will be my preseason. Doesn't mean that we approach the game without to believe, because we were pretty close to win those games. But at least you know that games that you need to win have to come. So actually, I believe the team is going in a direction. Maybe we need some adjustment. I really hope that the team and they understand that the personnel needs some changes. But you know, the job is tough, but it's there are some possibility to help the team to grow, and that's the reason why I accept the challenge.
Okay. And one more question about Italian basketball league. Like I heard something about like French basketball league, that it's very physical, fast paced. Like former WEF players and national team players, Igor Shchel now is playing in Germany. He had an interview about Germany league, that it's also like a really fast game, lots of American players. What kind of basketball is played in Italy? What kind of league is Italian A Serie?
Listen, Italian Serie A, it's going into almost the same direction that you just said. His teams are more and more import players oriented. What I mean is, because of the budget that are going down, we have less and less money. On the market, they are going into a cheap and small market and actually bring the top European players, as we used to do in the past, or pay salary for the best Italian players. Is becoming too expensive. And US is still a cheap market.
Yeah.
So usually teams are built around a core of import players who use the Italian league as, kind of exposure to achieve the next level. Because unfortunately, if 20 years ago, Italy was the best or the second best league in Europe, actually we come after few countries, like Turkey and like Russia,
Spain.
who can pay Spain, who can pay more, or can have like Spain, for example, a better organization, a better structure. So actually, if you take away some peaks like Milano and Bologna, the rest of the championship, it's a league too much import players oriented, and not able to valorize domestic players, not able to give coaches the time and the chance to improve their system and to make some, and help coaches to make the game better, because actually our basketball, it's kind of poor.
Now, yeah.
Yeah.
But so you let's talk about the system a little bit. You used to work when you started coaching. You worked in with the new generation
youth
teams, and how you can compare, because now you know something about like how Latvian youth organizations works, and like now Latvian youth national teams, we used to play only in A divisions in Europe champs. Now, last couple of years, there are lots of ages that play in the B division. And what you think about like Latvian youth system comparing to Italy youth system? Is it similar or much different?
No, it's much different.
Much different. What's the biggest difference?
Much different, because we have different resources. Okay, so Italian Federation can put good money in a youth program. It means that we have pro coaches who work 12 months per year, daily basis, on to develop youth program, to develop coaches and their preparation. And usually when we arrive in the summer, our team are pretty prepared, are real teams. Here, I saw the federation are doing a great job. It's a big effort to prepare the summer activity. But, usually recruiting coaches from clubs few weeks before to start the camp and stuff like that. In Italy, we have a totally different structure. And as I told you, totally different resources that actually allow a federation like Italy to have pro coaches who work only to develop the youth program. Despite of that, clubs are investing less and less money in youth basketball, and we are suffering because the level of recruiting is going down, a level of the team is going down. If you go and you watch, for example, the national championship in a youth age, and you try to compare with the past, wow, it's another story. Now level is very bad, and missing size, missing talent. We recruit a lot of players from outside. We tend to recruit import and to give them 3 or 4 years preparation into the youth program to receive the Italian license. Not passport,
the license,
basketball license, and allow them to play as a domestic.
Oh, okay.
And that sounds weird, but give you the picture of our actual status. Despite a good structure, we don't have a good organization. I believe it's time to do some changes in Italy. For what I saw here, talent is still okay, but most of the most talented guys, they used to play out of the country, and that's something cannot help. Even national team, to have a common spirit and common sense of belonging. National team is important, but keep the guys in the country will be crucial. So have good coaches who can really develop program, and teams who wants to invest money in structure can make Latvian basketball better. And next step, have results to stay at least in an A group. And then you can talk about medals. That sometimes is more, a coincidence, because you can combine talent and organization.
Yeah, because sometimes you just have the youth medals because it's just like a good year for your,
It's a coincidence,
That was one of your ideas, I guess, that players in a young age shouldn't go away from their country. But it's like also a circle. You don't have a good youth coaches here and good system, so you want to go away. But without the good players, you can't build a good system.
Listen, I'm not the guy who can talk about it. From what I see and what I saw since my day one here, level of the coach is not that bad. I mean, in my experience, I interview few of them, probably the best. I understand. I have the privilege to work together with the best coaches. But I interview coaches, and to tell you the truth, I felt a high level of knowledge, preparation, and what for a coach count the most, enthusiastic of the job of basketball. They are in love with this. And if you are not a passionate person, you cannot be a coach. You cannot teach the game. You cannot affect the people around you. I saw a pretty good, level in coaching. Of course, everybody can improve. It's good to have. Now it's a bad moment, of course, to travel and to share experience from different countries. But I don't believe that the level of coaches can be a good reason not to stay.
How do you think this COVID time will affect youth basketball level in all the Europe?
He's affecting and will affect, because the damage actually is this. We see guys are not making activity with continuity, what the young guys needs the most. But the real damage will be in the future.
Yeah, I wanted to ask, for which age group this is the most crucial? I don't know, maybe for 16-year-old or 14-year-old, for which
from 10 to 14
is the most crucial.
Yeah, crucial, because that's the era that's the age where you really understand and you click, you switch from participate and get involved, where you can really go with them and give them the vision that you can become a pro player, you can go and have a different level of demanding in practice. Without to stay in a gym, it's impossible. And so I'm talking about generation of guys who have to refill basketball in the next 10 years. How they can do it?
It will be weird. Maybe we will gonna see some in 10 years in the professional basketball, just 2 or 3 years, like there are no people who are born, I don't know, in 2007. Because,
bravo.
Yeah. Like about youth basketball, I read before this podcast, I think one of the best systems in Europe is in France, because like every team who plays in highest France league needs to have a youth team. They have this elite Espoir. Yeah, now Finnish also do this. They also have this. I think it's a good because lots of good French is the most, I think, European NBA players are from France.
Okay, there are several virtuous programs all around Europe and all around the world. If we talk about France and we talk about Espoir tournament, we talk about championship organization, league organization. Okay, they is almost inspired by the football, soccer. You know, in football is almost the same. What in Italy we call Primavera tournament is the team, the first division team, second division team, so pro teams who needs to have a second team with guys born in 18, 19, 20 years, who has to play almost the same, a parallel league, okay, and almost the same in France. But what can really inspire the other program is this INSEP.
INSEP, yes, so it doesn't have.
INSEP is, is where they recruit the most talented guys from all around the country. And there are some specific needs in France because, you know, from the past, they have several places where they recruit big athletes. Actually, I agree, is probably the country who has more players in NBA.
Yeah.
But we have to be honest that now they have French from second and third generation.
Of course, yeah.
You know, we talk about elite athletes who can really compete to become top EuroLeague players or NBA players. You know, you don't have the same skills and same athleticism and same peaks in the rest of Europe. But there are some other models. It's good that you talk about Finland, for example.
Yeah.
I know that Estonia is another country who's taking a look to Finland as an example, as an inspiration. Spain is doing great, but you know, we talk about federation who invest crazy money in youth program. They really believe and they really trust on that. It's good to choose models, you know. I understand that you don't have the same resources, but at least it's good to follow a direction. So it's good to travel. For example, I had experience last October together with one of a member of our management in a federation. We traveled to Spain. We went to the Barcelona Academy. We traveled to Badalona, to Sevilla, to Manresa, to meet people, basketball people who can give you some thoughts, some ideas, you know, to get inspired and to transfer. That's more or less the secret. Choose models and bring and steal ideas from everybody.
You looked at that also in kind of long term, that you will also need some new players in a national team, as a national team coach.
I mean, as a coach in general, and especially with the national team, you have to work today and bring the best from the personnel you have. As a coach, your vision has to be wider. And for example, last summer, I spent almost the entire summer to Latvia, and I saw national team and players and everybody play. I mean, 2000, 2001, 2002 in a World Cup, practice of the U14, 15, 16. No matter what, you have a vision and you know what to expect in the future. Trying to help a little bit from your side and your experience, how to try to lead, no matter what. You have to expect one day or the other, sooner or later, those guys to be part of the national team. And better you to know such a personality, such habits, such a culture, trying to predict, and from your side, trying to affect them and their culture and their approach with basketball. So no matter what, I hope that after my stay in Latvia, I will hang my uniform in a better place. And the next coach will find a better better picture than I found. That was great. Everything was excellent. Coach before me did an excellent job. Federation is very well organized, but my job is to make one more step ahead and hang the uniform in a better place.
So now this is like your first experience to being a national team coach, yes?
Kind of. I did with the Italian national team in the past, but not with the men's team.
Oh, okay. Before we start talking like specifically about Latvian team, you already mentioned this thing. What do you think that like now in Europe, almost every national team, like maybe not Serbia or something, but like smaller, has those players that like American imports who has this like Macedonia always have them. What do you think about that? Do you like these tendencies that everybody has one American player national team, or you think that it's better if it's national team, and we don't have imports there? That's for clubs.
Okay, at the beginning, I was not for that. I believe it's something can really change the value on a court, but because actually everybody is doing that, you have to realize that is a part of the strategy to recruit players, you know, good or bad. If you ask me as a basketball, part of the basketball community, of course, I believe national team has to, use players from the same country, or at least somebody who's playing your domestic league, you know? Because I understand sometimes because of a marriage, sometimes because they stay long in the same country and they receive the passport. Okay, something can sound okay, but actually national team are doing recruiting exactly like a club.
Yeah, for now.
They connect with players and their agency. They go by position. I need a 5-man, I need a 4-man, I need a 3. You saw also last Olympic, you know, Slovenia, they performed that well. They need a big guy, Mike Toby. They need a big guy. They went, they select the guy because of skills, you know, and they decide, okay, that's the profile, that's the player we need. And of course, players, they take advantages because of that. National team take advantages. If you ask me, sounds weird, but actually everybody is doing
it. Yeah.
So
is it the future of
I don't know if
basketball?
it's a future. I don't know if it's a future, but I believe actually is the reality.
It's the reality. Yeah.
Because I asked this
it.
question because it's always like in like every basketball related about national team in comment sessions, like it's always a hot topic with Latvian fans that we lost to Bulgaria, but they have this D-Boss guy. We lost to that, but they have
Robinson.
Yes.
Johnson.
When we lost to Slovenia in Euros in quarterfinals, they had Anthony Randolph. So that's and Latvians never do that because 2 years ago there was this discussion. There was this I think American player who played great for women's TTT team, and there was some discussions. Maybe we need to naturalize her, so she will play. But
it's a way. But actually, as I told you, federation, they go straight to the players they really like, and they're just doing recruiting by according with skills and their needs. You know, missing big men. You know what else? I don't believe we are missing resources, technical resources as a European basketball. But that crazy schedule, FIBA schedule, fighting with EuroLeague, he's making windows during winter so important that federation needs to save their investment in basketball. What I mean is, when you talk about Croatia or Serbia or Lithuania, who are missing, their top 15 talent because they are playing NBA, EuroLeague, you know, and they cannot, or China, and they cannot participate to windows.
How it's the same in Latvia.
Yeah, but we for Lithuania it's even more. Yeah,
no. It's according with for us the 3-4 players who are playing NBA and EuroLeague affect
the same
the list as the 15 players affect the Serbian list, you know. For a small country like Latvia, miss EuroLeague players and NBA players, it's tough, you know. Like for Serbia missing 10 players, you know, almost the same. So that calendar and that crazy rules push federation to save and protect their investment, because being in European or a World Cup or not to be or Olympic change the picture completely, you know, and everybody forget or will forget that you were using an American to do it. But actually, those players looks like a kind of a safety insurance guy and a shortcut to achieve your goals.
Yeah, like for when Russia won Euro 2007, who made
J.R. Holden.
fire? You know where J.R. Holden started his basketball?
Yes, in Latvia.
Yeah.
In Aska.
Brocani, yes. Okay, now let's talk about this, your work here in Latvia. In the beginning, I wanted to ask, like, how are you feeling? I don't know, some pressure or something to work here in Latvia, because, like, in some way you are a little bit like the whole, because we think we are a great basketball nation. We have lots of players in NBA, and we hit our
a lot too.
No, now too, but I mean NBA players, EuroLeague players. We at some point we had four.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and then Latvia's national team we hit the low point again when we lost to Bulgaria, didn't make the Euros, and now it's your turn. Like. It was easy decision to agree to work here in those circumstances that we are where we are now.
The season was easy. But the pressure is high and expectations are high because I'm that kind of person. I mean, I'm a person who tends to put pressure on himself and create high expectations. But the decision was so quick, because I really wants to do it.
Okay, so
how much you knew about the Latvian basketball and comparing after this summer? You said you watched a lot of games, a lot of youth players. How did it change somehow about our resources of basketball?
I mean, when I decided to come, to tell you the truth, I was not so informed about the Latvian basketball community, about level of coaching. Of course, I knew the peaks because in my career I met people and coaches and players, and I recruit players as well. Because not to forget, Kaspar Tsiprus was my player in the past, back in the years. Better to forget because it was too many years ago. And but at that time I was a kid. I was a rookie in first division as a coach. But you cannot realize before you enter the country and you start to meet people and watch live. And so it's almost the level that I was expecting to find. What I liked the most and impressed me the most is how people participate, how much effort players spend wearing the uniform of the national team. And that's the part who makes me more happy for the choice I did, no matter what. I mean, I feel every day such a desire to be part of the program who makes me feel safe, no matter what. I believe we will be on a court with brave enthusiasm and desire to compete.
But I guess that was some kind of surprise. I guess you were in the States during that time, right? And then there's a call, do you want to become a coach of our national team? So that was out of the blue, right?
Yeah, totally unexpected. But probably in my mind something
was going. Some kind of a prank?
No, it's because, I was... being US in a COVID era, a COVID period.
You were in bubble, yes? You were in a G League bubble.
I was in a G League bubble. And I received that call. Sounds so weird. And I say, why not? I mean, that's a good point in my career because of my age, my experience. Why not to do it? I felt some kind of challenge. Actually, there are you know, it's the same like the choice I did going to Pesaro. Last team, probably the smallest program in Italian league. Why to go there and expose my, reputation, you know, as a winning coach? There's no winning and losing coach. There are coaches who has the chance to work in a top program and small program. Your job is to perform no matter of the level and make your program better, okay? Before to win titles, I was in smaller program, and if I received that opportunity is because the people saw some values in me when I was in smaller team. And I believe my age and my experience can give me the proper knowledge and the proper, you know, chances to affect a program like a national team, despite the time that, as I told you, is your biggest enemy, like this window. I just arrived to Riga and 3 practice and try to beat Serbia in Belgrade.
Yeah, because we
kind of crazy mission, right? But very challenging.
Yeah, I wanted to ask like how you feel now, because like when we played Romania and Belarus in the summer, you had a month, you know. Now you just arrived.
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Now you have 3 days. It's for you also like a little bit new experience.
Yeah.
When those how you think it's better like how it was like, I don't know, 6 years ago when there were those summer windows for qualifiers as well. And now you just have to work too.
Exactly. Yeah. Everything changed completely. You know what? For example, in my position, I interview some coaches. Because of my age, I'm good with several coaches. I tell you, I visit Sergio Scariolo, that is a Spanish national team coach. Few weeks ago, we spent 2 days together in Bologna to talk about that. I asked him, hey, what's your experience during window? Because when you prepare Olympics or you prepare a World Cup, it's easy.
Camp,
you know, you go camp, you stay weeks, you have a huge roster, your best players, everybody wants to participate. But when you go window, it's another story. First, how to communicate with players, stay in touch with them, to keep them, involved. How to handle a different personnel, because there are some changes. At the beginning, I expect to do small changes. But then, because of injuries and personal issues, I did more changes. How you affect this? What's the strategy in a way to communicate? How you prepare players? Not to forget, I cannot send videos to players too early. Why? Because players are totally involved in their club activities, and they don't have a mindset to follow you or to listen you. So, for example, I send voice messages to define roles. I send messages and I send clips. They check during the flight back to Latvia, you know, trying to refresh or try to show for the new guys. And also the typology of the practice change, because you have to communicate properly with players. Be short and be very sharp. Okay, so short and sharp became our mantra. And it's, I told you, it's challenging. I don't know 100% what to expect about games. But listen, I'm pretty sure that in the summer, we did an excellent job together with my staff to give the footprint, the trademark to the team. Actually, everybody knows how Latvia has to play basketball to perform.
Everybody knows. But so, what is that trademark? What will be the Latvian national team's trademark?
Play fast and play aggressive and play with pleasure to share the ball and to share sacrifices. Probably we are not the best talent in European basketball. We are not the best athlete in European basketball. But I believe we have a ton of guys who can really play a good basketball and well-organized basketball. They are, they catch information. They like to share, as I told you. And we have to see from our system that we have to play different, the way we share the ball, we select our shot, the way we play defense with a good organization can make us able to compete with everybody.
I want to ask, like, also about those windows. Like, you said during the season they are invested in the clubs, and it's no use to send them videos during the season. But now some of them just come back to Latvia for 3 days, and it's not hard to get them also 100% to the practices because I want to meet my mom, dad. I'm just here for 3 days, or guys are professionals and they are 100% in the practices because you finally came home.
Yeah. We have to find not a compromise but a middle way. What I mean is, okay, being a small country help. Because for most of them, being Riga is like to be back home.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You don't have to travel and go. But of course, there are guys also from Liepāja or from Ventspils who cannot come for practice and be back home. So they are right now they are enjoying hotel exactly like me. But we try to go with a kind of schedule who allowed people to have time. We don't stay in hotel 24 hours, to kill people with information. As I told you, I believe we already print our food mark on their mentality, on their state of mind. I saw also yesterday in practice, most of us arrived yesterday in practice without to sleep because we finished game Sunday night, and we took the very first flight from our countries to come to Latvia. We were in practice, and nobody from outside can understand that we were totally without sleeping, And players, they try to do stuff. You cannot keep them 3 hours in practice because the level of focus cannot stay so long and so high. But I believe they were enthusiastic to be part, some new faces who can help, some changes, who can put some spice in a recipe.
We heard that you also sometimes you have some 3-hour practices.
Yeah, that's a bad reputation. But it's time for everything.
Yeah,
what I try to explain, guys. I did a camp in June with young players plus couple of leaders like Dairis Bertans.
And Dairis.
Listen, in June
camp.
was just Dairis. It was time to know people better and also help my coaching staff to understand the direction. We were in a kind of experiment mode. We practice a lot, but we practice only 1 per day, 3 hours, okay, but 1 time per day. Then you have the afternoon to rest and relax. Why? Because in the afternoon I have to go to practice the next generation that was with 2000, 2001 and was 2 or 3 more hours, but not for those players, for other players and coaches. And but then as soon as we start the next camp that was to prepare the bubble, the practice changed because you have to select information and the time because also the weather changed. We were practicing with 30 degrees, 85% humidity into the Olympic Center without air conditioning. And people continue to tell me, hey, coach, you don't need air conditioning in Latvia. Guys, you cannot practice like this. Don't worry. It's a matter of 1 day. Okay. Very next day was the same or even worse. And the guy sweat like crazy. And it's dangerous.
Climate changes.
For your muscle, it's very risky because hydration affect performance a lot. People, they don't understand how much affect your focus mentally and your body, your muscles. And I say, guys, we cannot practice like this. You see how much? Forget. It's a matter of 1 day. Okay. and the story continued for 3 weeks.
Yes.
And when finally rain arrived, in 2 hours was even worse.
Yes.
And so after that, I realized that nobody can talk with me anymore about bad summer in Latvia. Forget. I saw one of the most beautiful summertime of my life. I told my family, hey, you have to come to Latvia in vacation because city is amazing, country is beautiful, and the weather is beautiful. So
This summer was one of the first summers when those people who didn't go to vacation somewhere else did the right choice, because I had some friends who went, I don't know, to like South France, and there had like plus 22, and we had like plus 29.
Exactly.
It's raining there. You already mentioned the mentality. I wanted to ask, like, now you worked like with a bunch of Latvian players, young players. What is common? Like, what is Latvian like? Not like physical skills. You said we maybe are not the fastest athletes, maybe in the Europe. But what is like Latvian basketball player mentality, the average? Because why I asked this question, like I listened to interview to this one Latvian basketball coach who said this. Like he was a coach of one Latvian basketball league team, and he said I had 2 point guards, like. This Latvian guy and American guy, and in the practice, the Latvian guy was much better than the American guy. But when the game time came, the American guy was much better than the Latvian guy. So maybe that's some problem, the mentality or something. What do you think about like?
Yeah, I think it's connected with the culture.
Yeah,
I agree. Not because Latvians are bad, but because Americans are bad.
good bad.
No, I mean. You know, they have such kind of instinct for the game. They are gamers, you know what I mean? You know, their basketball come from the streets. And when you go playground, that, you know, approach to compete and to succeed. And something who can really build their personality. And that's the point, in my opinion, we are missing the most here. I talk about we, like if I'm Latvian. I'm not Latvian, but that, I mean, Latvians missing the most.
For now you are. You have 3 stars on your
and I'm so proud of that. And, you know, competing. I tell you one story. During practice, end of a practice, during the huddle at the end, I interview one of my players. And I said, listen, how many scrimmage you won today? He said, I don't know. You don't know? How many scrimmages we played today in practice? I think 5. Okay, it was 6. Good. How many wins you have? What's your record? I don't know. You don't know? Why you practice? You're not practice scrimmages to win? You don't count wins? Why you practice? There's no reason if you don't want to make a shooting drill to win. A 5-on-5 to win, a 3-on-3 to win. If you don't have such a kind of spirit and instinct, you cannot help the team to achieve. You know what I mean? And he say, okay, no problem. And I say, that's a big problem. Because I expect that when I will give you minutes, you will spend all your best effort to win games. Win games and celebrate. Win games and have a joke with your teammates. Go there and, you know, and tell some bad words against them, because it's part of the show, you know, it's part of your job. And missing a little bit such a kind of, you know, how can I say, juice into the practice, and then it become automatic into the game. So if you talk about Americans, they have such instinct. But about practice, it's a matter to save energies, you know. That's bad, because it's only practice who can create habits. And about Latvians' general mentality, because of course there are differences, general mentality, let's practice with discipline, let's practice hard, let's practice as the coach wants. But then in a game, you know, it's not like in practice. You cannot control everything. Of course you cannot. You have to respond in a game. And decision-making is a key. So for us as a coaches, when I spoke with the youth coaches, for example, that's basketball personality is connected with decision-making. What to do as a coaches? Give some exercises where they really, you have to stress your players. You have to create some changes into the practice who really teach guys to respond and to react, because they will take decision during the game. It's not you as a coach. You can call a timeout or make a sub, maybe call a set, but then things are going in their own direction, and only players can change it.
The Australian team coach, who's also with a Latvian course, he
Lehman.
said, Lehman's. He said that it's useful to have a shooting practice without the guards. So you will never have such situation during the game. You have to always create the situation of game also during the practices.
Yeah, you can. Why not? Why not? As I told you, it's you can do it. Sometimes as I told you, you have to be creative as a coach, and there are kind of exercises who sometimes doesn't look like the game, but can really help players to respond in a game. Even, I don't know, switch the matchup and have a big who guards the small, or a small who guards the big. Doesn't look like, regular basketball, but it match with modern basketball, with switching defense, no matter, or talking about versatility. Look, NBA, most of the team, they play 5 out. Or EuroLeague, where one of the most effective big men is 1.98 m, and one of the most effective guard is 2 meters. So now actually point guard are bigger than big. What is this? This is modern basketball. And as a coach, youth coach, you have to create. That's the reason why I told you, be creative.
About your staff you have in a national team, what are their responsibilities and how you divide
Because
them?
we all together we are VEF Podcast, and one of your assistants is the head coach of VEF Riga. How is Janis as an assistant? Because we know him as a head coach.
Him and Artur's are a high-level assistant. I mean, it's a great honor for me to have such good coaches who can make my job much easier, because of course, being into a new environment makes me feel kind of inadequate. What I mean is I need to accelerate the process and learn information about players, style, everything, habits, and have those guys who combine some qualities. Like when I interview coaches, one of the priority for me was to select assistant coaches who are young, enthusiastic, who has a knowledge and desire to know and to prove themselves. And that's what I found when I met them, both going into their specific responsibilities first. Both of them are head coaches. Yeah. And that's very important for me, because I don't need the yes man. I need people around who has the ability and the tendency to take decision during game, during practice, before practice. Because as a head coach, you have to involve your staff, you have to interview them, and you expect point of view. And you don't need just yes men, people who wants to follow. But I need people who can help me to change if I'm going wrong, And I believe both of them, they have the skills and the values to do that and help my job, as actually they are doing, in everything. As I told you, scouting, handling personnel, running a practice or running a game, because they are top-level coaches. And I predict a great future for both of them.
Yeah. And about not staff, but about players, I think a lot of Latvian fans are really excited to see Rodions and Andrzejs back in national team rosters. But I know you have only 3 days with them, but what do you expect from those guys now? Because last couple of years, they both are really talented basketball players, but they had a really rough years. Andrzejs haven't played, now he played 2 games in Spain, but before that he hadn't played almost for a year. Rodions is in a year and a half, yes. Rodions is in a pretty difficult situation now in the Partizan. Then he's playing, then he's on the bench. But what to expect from those guys? Are they ready to play? Because I think in Latvian national team, the fans will be expect expecting from them a lot because, for the average fans, there are two guys who played in NBA at some point, so they need to be good. So the expectations are high from them.
I believe, we have to talk very straight because, not to create fake expectations. We talk definitely about high-level players, and I'm really excited as fans to be coach with everybody. But of course, we talk about two players who has some skills who can make our team better for sure. I expect high performances from their side. Of course, both of them, they are suffering because some changes. Rodi is back to Europe. It's not so automatic. Come back from NBA, be Europe, approach a program like Partizan, with Coach Obradovic, high demanding. Not to forget, being in a city, we already spoke about that with Rodi, being in a city like Belgrade. It's a basketball city into a basketball country where 1 million people follow you. And every day you go out and you walk from your apartment to the grocery store. Everybody knows who you are. And all the people who met you, he's in love with you because they are Partizan, or they hate you because they are Red Star. And every time you play, there are 1 million people who look at you as an idol or as a guy you hate. It's great to grow in such environment, but wow, very difficult and very challenging. We will realize the effect of such a choice in the long term. Actually, it's a little bit earlier. And I believe that Rodi needs national team right now more than national team needs Rodi. My expectation that he play open mind, that he play with fun, with with desire to, with the pleasure to play basketball. Sometimes I saw him a little bit tight on the court. Hey, mistake is part of the game, especially if you don't have so much time to practice, to learn sets, to know your teammates. But I expect him to play full of energy, enthusiasm, and will to compete. That's the most important. And the same with AP. Of course, AP, he's discovering his game. He's back in his mode day by day, practice by practice. We cannot expect too much from his side, but I believe that wearing this uniform, he will receive an extra boost.
But it's good that he got at least a couple of games in Spain now before national.
A couple.
About the Partizan thing and the pressure, we a year ago in this podcast, we had Giannis Painters who played in Partizan, and he said that at the moment he signed the contract with the Partizan, there was this first news on the Partizan in Serbian website about, we signed. He already had a couple of thousand new followers on Instagram, immediately. He just signed the contract and everybody, and they're new. Yeah, that's interesting. So yes, I think we spoke the most things about national team, but
how ready is the game plan for you right now? Do you already know the starting five in your mind?
About us or about the opponent?
About our team,
Our team, more or less. I have in mind a core of players to handle, but I want to see during those practice if our prediction can really fit can really match with the reality. But I have more or less in mind the picture, as I told you, of my core and the players. I can really trust in such a, stressed situation like a game in Belgrade.
There's going to be 100%, there are no restrictions for fans. There can be a full...
I'm not sure.
I think yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be...
I saw several events there with no restriction, with packed arena, especially the game Partizan against Red Star was crazy. Also, the way the fans act during the game against the other the opponent team, and the Partizan team was away team. So they were targeted by the paper balls.
Of course, yes.
And and something else. Better not to talk in a COVID period. And you need probably after that game, you need the fourth, fifth, and sixth shot. I don't know if FIBA want to impose their own restriction, no matter of the countries, you know. But no matter what, will be exciting and challenging. Full, 50%, 30%.
What would you prefer? The crowded arena?
Yes.
Of course. I think
give a sense to our job.
Yeah. I wanted to ask about, like you said about players. You don't send them videos during the club season because there are, they are concentrating their club games. How it's for you as a coach? Because, you need to be involved to watch some Latvians play, to think who 15 players would be in the national team. How is for you to juggling also club and national team? You come after the club game and you need to do some job for the national team. It's not hard to do both?
Okay. Of course, the time I wasn't with the club helped me, for example, to travel more and meet players and see players live.
You even went to the web game in Italy.
But I traveled to Spain, to Serbia, everywhere. You know, I have some Latvian players to talk with their coaches. But of course, technology helps a lot because actually I can see live or 1 hour later most of the games. Estonian, Latvian League, ACB, Euroleague, NBA, everything, you know. We have a weekly report. We are monitoring 55 players.
Latvian, yes?
Yes, every day from NBA till the domestic league. And every week we have a report. We update the report, and every month we have a monthly report. So we can see also the tendencies of players. This is something that we use from our side to take information about players, but we use also to have a better connection and communication with them. Because when you realize they have some peaks, they are overperforming, but also when they are underperforming, it's time to make a call, you know, to change to chat a little bit with them. Because I used to say my players, you will never stop to be a national team player. Okay, no matter if you are in a club. And so have a visit of a national team coach, as I did in Spain or in Serbia, or have a call, have a message. After you played a great game, make you feel proud of that. Because it's good that you understand that everybody is taking a look when you are going great, but also when you have, for example, an injury. And that's another point. We have a high level performing staff with Oscars, our strength coach, with Dr. Martins, with all our physios, and we create a group. And players, they really appreciate that almost every 2-3 weeks, doctors and all his staff, they connect with players to know if everything is going well, if they need some help, some support. And it's nice to have players. For example, today I spoke with one of my players this morning, and he told me, oh, everything is okay with my body, you know, but being here, and I trust my doctors. But when I come back in a Latvian national team and I have this kind of stuff, I feel more safe, more secure. So this is another part that we use to stay connected with players and have a good level of knowledge and communication with them, because I like that kind of relationship, to build such channels between players, no matter. Then I select 15 in a wide group, but we have information about everybody, and everybody knows that we are following them.
Okay, I want to ask one question about WEF before we end. because the next game for the WEF is against Treviso.
Yes.
What WEF needs to do? We need this win. Desperately.
Win. Yeah, I'm making some pressure on Coach Yanis, you know. Also today, we spoke before our practice. We stayed together in a locker room. We spent a little bit, you know, because I really like this guy and his personality. And we, you know, from my position and my age, I try to provoke him a little bit. And I say, hey, listen, that's a key game. I expect a big win. You know what? I saw Treviso play several times. I believe he's one of the best team in Italy, actually. They start the season very well. VEF was the very first team who put them in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they have a similar style. You know, they play up-tempo basketball. They shoot the ball pretty well. And they were not expecting such talent and skills in VEF team. They were surprised how they run, especially first half. They were able to run the floor so well. And they were struggling. They were not prepared. At the end, they won. Not to deserve that much, but okay, forget. Actually, Treviso is going a little bit down. They are not the same, but unfortunately for VEF, I believe the break can help a little bit Treviso to rebuild their style, their mentality, because since 1 week ago, team looks a little bit tired, you know, exhausted. And now they can use that break to relax a little bit, to rest, and to start over. But of course, I mean, VEF has to use the home advantage to win this game, because not to forget, beat Treviso will put Treviso in a position where their last game against AEK
will matter.
Have to be crucial for them. Yeah. And Treviso can beat AEK only if they have a high level of needs, you know? And they have to win. So, okay, let's start step by step.
Okay.
Let's push VEF to take this win.
Okay, keep pushing, guys. And my, like for you, I wish you to win the first two games, Serbia and Slovakia.
Thank you.
There can be only like 500 fans here in Latvia. But those 500 tickets are already sold out. So that's a good news. And
sold out game for Latvia.
But my biggest wish for you, like during your time as a Latvian coach, that at some point, and that means we're going to qualify for World Cup, you're going to coach Latvia team with all the best talent we have. I think that would be really great with Kristaps.
That's a wish. But I tell you, no matter what, that's one of the points and a kind of mentality we have to put into our players. No matter what, who's participating in national team, who was join national team, have to make proud himself, his people. No matter what, I mean, being without NBA players or EuroLeague players cannot take away dignity from our game, our style, and our power. We have to trust them, and we have to believe that with the actual roster, we can really compete with the best team in Europe. I'm so sure about that. And I will be so disappointed if we cannot achieve.
I hope you will. Everybody here in Latvia, no pressure. But everybody no pressure.
I like pressure.
Okay, then pressure. Everybody
I like the pressure. Yeah, that's a good pressure.
We need something good from basketball, like because rough couple of years. Okay, thank you, Luka. So yeah,
you're really welcome, guys. Thank you to have me here.
Yeah. Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Paldies, ka skatījāties.
Paldies.